Hey, it's Mr. Lineski here with your top 5 and under 5 for Unit 6, talking more about triangles. Let's get started, shall we? First thing, you need to know your vocabulary. There was a lot of vocab floating around here in this unit. So given a triangle, if we were talking about line BD, I could say that BD is a median if it cuts the line in half. So BD is cutting AC in half, and we can mark AD congruent to DC. We can also say that BD is an angle bisector, and what that does is it cuts the angle in half. So line BD is cutting angle ABC in half. If line BD is an altitude is the perpendicular height of a triangle, so we just mark that simply by placing right angles where BD and AC meet. And finally, if we know it's a perpendicular bisector, we has to be both perpendicular and bisecting the line. So we're sort of combining altitudes and medians together. So that is the vocab. We need to know the triangle inequality theorem. What that says is that the sum of the two smallest sides of a triangle must be greater than the third side in order for the triangle to exist. So some quick example problems here. If I ask you the question, does the triangle exist given the side lengths of 3, 6, and 10, we want to check the two smallest sides to see if it's greater than the third side. So 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 is not greater than 10. Therefore, this triangle does not exist. The other example here, the two smallest sides are 4 and 10. And we want to check, is that greater than 12? We get 14 greater than 12, so yes, indeedy, that triangle does exist. Another type of problem we have there is what are possible lengths for the third side to make a triangle for the given side lengths. Simply put, all we're doing here is adding and subtracting the numbers. So when I add these together, 7 plus 12, or 12 plus 7, that gives us the larger side, so that gives us 19. And remember, we want to write this as a compound inequality, and when we subtract, we get 12 minus 7, which is equal to 5. So possible side lengths there would be 5, any number between 5 and 19. Number 3 here is the Hinge Theorem. Basically, you need to remember that the bigger the angle, the bigger the side. Typically here, you're asked to make comparisons based on a given figure. So if I have this figure here where I have sides 12 and 12, so I know these two sides are congruent. I also know that AC is the shared side, so that's congruent. Comparing these angles, we have 30 and 40, therefore this is the bigger angle. Therefore, this is the bigger side. So if I asked you to make a comparison here, you could say that BC is greater than CD. Moving on, we had these problems where it was the two triangles pushed up against each other, and you were asked to put the sides in order from smallest to largest. So some hints here, that the shared side, or the part that's always in the middle, that's always going to be the answer to the part that's in the middle. So BD is the shared side, so BD is going to be the middle side length. So if you look here, 100 degrees and 20 degrees, since this side is the largest, so that middle is the largest side, and then this is the smallest side for this triangle. If this is the largest, that means that this side, or this triangle, is smaller than this triangle. So this is the bigger triangle over here. This is the bigger triangle. So therefore, we can say that AD is the smallest side. So we're starting with this triangle here. So across from 30, that's AD. Across from 50, that's AB. We know BD is the middle side. Looking at the bigger triangle now, 20 we used, 40 that would be BC, and then 120 that would be CD. And finally, our last thing is the midsegment relationships. So we want to remember that midsegment is joining all of the midpoints of a triangle together to sort of make this Triforce looking thing from the Zelda video games if you play that. We have side lengths, and I just marked them sort of appropriately. So if A to B is 12, I know that AD is 6, DB is 6, and EF is 6. So remember, these sides are parallel, and all three of these little nubs are congruent. If this midsegment here is 4, that means that BF would be 4, FC would be 4, therefore BC would be 8. All right, that is your top 5 in under 5.